just yet. Here we are. Damn, I got baited so hard. Okay.
And outsmarted.
I was. Oh, God. You are just going well back in time today, Frosco.
I'm a time traveler.
Well, Galio, Zaya are going to be taken away here by Gambit as WE get rid of the Jarvan and the Sejuani.
Pretty staple bans there. I wonder if this means that they're going to put more priority on the Gragas. I would like to see Condi pick up something a bit more aggressive, especially looking across from someone like Diamond, who can make those big plays if given the opportunity, if he sees it. I actually really love that ban.
Yeah, the Alistair going to be taken off the board, and I'm glad that you mentioned Diamond Prox because, of course, his second most played during the playoffs was that Kayn. And I haven't actually seen it so far. It's like, as an LCK caster, we just decided to move past the Kayn possibility. We just decided that he wasn't really worthwhile, as the Cho'Gath going to be locked in first up, and WE considering the Kog'Maw here. And this is well and truly a WE looking style if they do decide to lock this one in.
Yeah, well, they almost got spanked by Kog'Maw earlier on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Kog'Maw decided to lose the game at 8-1-7, but it was a magnificent performance for the majority of it, and that is going to be the Mystic Special. They are the true OGs of blind pick Kog'Maw.
Well, looking to try and get some disengage for him as well, and Condi going to take that Gragas one more time. I love the flexibility of this champion. Can play aggressively in the early game if he wants to, and can try and get those ganks happening as well. As we move over to Gambit, lock in there a couple of picks.
Yeah, and already with Team WE, you have a lot of safety for the Kog'Maw. The fact that you do have the Gragas there, it means that Janna rises up that much higher in priority, and you wanted to see it.
Here we are again. So, Kayn being locked away for Diamond Prox. And he has had some decent success on the champion. The guy plays aggressively early. See whether it's going to work against Condi, who's pretty used to playing against aggressive junglers, given the fact that he's in the LPL.
He's also very used to playing against Kayn. Now, one of our top junglers in the LPL is a guy named Ning, the jungler for Invictus Gaming. He brought out Kayn fast and furious out of the gate, played it multiple times, and Condi has a lot of experience looking across from this champion and understanding all of the chaos and all of the speed that Kayn can bring to a game. So this is not a pick that would catch Team WE off guard. They should know very well how to deal with this.
Well, 957 getting some cheers as he locks away his Shen. And the Varus was actually locked in for blasting there as well. So a lot of damage potential, but it's a little bit of a look back in time as far as the AD carry meta is concerned. And there weren't a lot of bans stopping him from picking something like a Tristana, something like anything else apart from the Kalista and the Xayah.
I mean, it could be a really good read on the fact that you already saw the Kog'Maw, and so you kind of have two different options. You can either look towards a hyper-scaling AD carry as well, or maybe you pick up something like Varus. You expect that the Kog'Maw is going to be flanked by tanks, so you need to be taking some tank shredding ability in your AD carry. You've got a really nice wash of CC or crowd control coming out of Varus and Cho'Gath, so there is a lot of potential that if Kog'Maw steps out of position, that Varus and Cho can really punish him.
Well, now, as the bans are coming in, that is going to be a brand taken away from Gambit.
May not be Licrit, but still in spirit.
Yeah, and of course, in that particular final that Licrit was able to win as Albus Nox Luna, it was Edward that was playing it as well, so everyone in CIS region on the brand hype train. However, not necessarily so much in this meta. I do like the throwback respect, though, as LeBlanc is going to hit the bench. Xie, of course, a pretty fantastic LeBlanc player in the past, and probably still.
Yeah, definitely one of his champions that he looks better on. Xie certainly has been slumping recently. I think that was pretty evident. In his last game, he went down like 20 CS, 30 CS in lane. Kind of touching on the brand really quick, though, it's also a pick that we see in the LPL probably more frequently than you would really expect coming out of a power region. And again, I actually really like Brand in kind of a big tank meta because of his passive and his ability to start shredding and doing more damage to those big, beefy champions.
Yeah, well, the Thresh is going to be the ban away from Edward as well, so the Thresh Prince definitely getting the respect. And Xie's Lucian going to be taken off the board, and he has certainly looked dominant on that champion as well. So Janna going to be taken away for the double disengage, most likely here for WE, and I would certainly respect that one. It's been working out so far here at the play-ins. That is going to be that. So Ben locking away the Janna for the Kog'Maw.
But the game plan is not changing for WE. They struggled earlier. Yes, this is the tried and true composition for them. Everything, all of the weight of the world on Mystic's shoulders. But Ben is normally a playmaking support. You know, we don't usually see him on the likes of the Janna. And I thought for sure that they were going to change gears, especially across from Gambit Esports, if they did their homework. Or maybe they're just confident enough that they can allow, you know, picks like that and a very aggressive performance like Diamond Prox's Kayn and just absorb it.
And this is Gambit really moving back to comfort now, as Kira not going to have his Anivia banned away this time. Was banned against Lion. Now, Edward, what is he going to take? If we were going to go back in time for Oscarin, I'd want the Sona, personally. That was my original... this was when his name was Gosu Pep, you know, well back in the day, but Malzahar being considered, and that is going to be locked in. So is that Malzahar support? Could we theoretically have an Anivia support? Malzahar top lane? We're going back to Season 1. Cho'Gath support? Yeah?
I'm going to bring some control back into this Champions Select. I'm going to say that it's probably Kira's Anivia. Again, that's his big signature legacy pick for that guy. And Malzahar support, you know, it hasn't been too far off in the distance. We've seen it already pop up in the mid lane position today, and you're still bringing that same incredible lockdown. And speaking of lockdown, that's now Varus and Malzahar. Again, if Mystic ever steps out of position, he will be punished.
Well, WE going to take the Jace here into the mid lane, and I like it. Augment a lot of magic damage that you're inherently going to have come out of the Cogmore, and the emphasis on poke. You've got Living Artillery now as well as the Empowered Shock Blast to really make sure that Gambit cannot stand around and not make the engage happen. We know that they like to, and Edward is going to have the flash ult to try and lock someone down, but Nethergrass may not necessarily be enough, and it doesn't have that AoE nature that the quickness did have when he had the Rakan in his back pocket. Those nerfs to that ultimate actually did look like they affected Edward, and certainly no nerfs to a targeted lockdown spell.
It also means that while he's on the Malzahar, that his ability to roam and playmake in other lanes are really dependent on his level. You know, if he is someone like the Rakan, like the Alistar, he can leave lane that much earlier, start, you know, making those surprise ganks up onto the top lane into the mid lane. But as the Malzahar, he's a bit more dependent to sit down there for a lot longer, wait till level 6, and then try to make a big play with that ultimate.
Yeah, but we'll have a lot of ability to shove the lane as well. And I mean, I know Cogmore, a lot of extra range if he has that Bioarcane Barrage up there, but Varus, the Piercing Arrow, can really get things done earlier on. And Blasting, I was actually quite impressed with how Blasting was playing in their last match against Lion Gambit. Of course, he's the one that isn't the legacy player from either Albus Nox or, you know, Moscow 5, then Gambit.
And frankly,
so he's stepping up. You know, he has been an impressive player, especially throughout the split for Gambit.
Yeah, it's just a bit hard to shine when you're flanked between, you know, the legacies of
exactly.
the Thresh Prince himself as well as Diamond Prox, and then you got PvP Stayhouse and Kira on top of it. But I agree, I think Blasting's been holding his own, and now he gets to really test himself across from Mystic, because outside that blundered flash ultimate, Mystic was still playing pretty solid in a lot of those fights.
Talking about tests, I mean, Kira now up against Xie. Xie, of course, has been a powerhouse. You mentioned slumping a little bit. But Kira now on his signature champion is going to really be able to test Xie.
Now, I do want to mention the crowd a little bit right now as Mystic is acknowledging them with his icon. They are chanting Jayo, which means refuel or good luck. It's kind of like add fire to the flame. So Gambit not only looking across from Team WE, but also that 6-man and the home crowd field advantage.
And we just know how incredibly passionate the Chinese fans are as well. So there's a lot of pressure from that, but also a lot to be gained. So we'll see whether WE going to be able to harness it, or whether Gambit is going to be able to, as Schönfire stated, silence the crowd.
We do need to quickly check on where Edward is standing, because Gambit do look like they're pulling something a little bit cheeky for this level 1, as Malzahar isn't bottom. He's looking for a delayed invade. This is 4 people from Gambit walking into this red jungle.
Well, WE going to move down as well, but we've only got 1 on the bottom side. Great double stun, and there's the silence as well as Gambit gets some decent damage, but otherwise not so much more as Xie's going to move to his lane first. 957, a bit confused about what he wants to do, but those empowered auto attacks are going to get him working out here in this trade.
It is really hard to deal with Cho, though, level 1, especially if he has his Vorpal Spikes. Needs to be careful, though. Okay, got the cooldown back.
I like how they're both sort of made to auto attack after pressing buttons, you know? Does make some sense, as Blasting is going to have to get the heck out of the way of Mystic and Ben until Edward can come down and support him.
But already, this is a really great start for Gambit. This is exactly what I wanted. A very clever, you know, early game play. And he could actually be setting up for a gank on mid. He's going to go through the wall.
Yeah, Xie already down to half health there as well, as he's going to jump forward. A flash comes out from Xie, and Diamond Proc says, well, that's absolutely fine. And Xie is so incredibly low, and he took the Doran's Blade, so that's only 1. Oh, God, Kira, the auto attack is there. He's going to need another one as Xie jumps forward. Good flashback as First Blood comes in for Kira. This is what we're expecting from this clutch player.
And this is so punishing because not only did he get the first blood, but he also burned the flash. So it is so easy to look for the same play again. Diamondprox should just be camping that mid lane. The long-range stun potential of Anivia is so punishing now that Xie is this vulnerable. And Diamondprox, he's not stopping.
Well, he's going to bounce through this wall as Mystic's in trouble. Does land the slow there as the dash forward comes in, but Mystic able to get himself out of the way. But that is more summoner spells gained, and Diamondprox has successful ganks now in 2 lanes in what feels like a minute and a half.
Yeah, pretty much Raptor's red, immediately punishes mid, now punishes the bot lane, and has a wealth of options before him. Again, he's got so much CC in every single lane. Yes, he'll have to wait a little bit for bot, but he's still got the slow available to him from Varus. So, where is he gonna strike? Is it gonna be the mid lane? Is it gonna be punishing Mystic?
Who knows, but I'm terrified about it. Feels almost worse than Zac, you know, as Mystic going to take a lot of damage. The flash from Blasting grabs another kill as the Acathian Surprise isn't going to be able to catch up. Just tries to get some minions, but barely does that as well. And we knew that Gambit were capable of this as Xie is going to jump forward. Kira should get egged here and will most likely die. Remember, didn't have the flash. As Condi should be able to deliver this one over to Xie if he wants to. He just spends some time farming. Condi grabs the kill. It's a little bit of a disaster, but still a kill here for WE as they try and catch up to Gambit.
Yeah, a little bit awkward there. The fact that Xie wasted his acceleration blast there, possibly looking for the big burst damage, and it's Condi that walks away with the kill, but, you know, I guess.
Yeah, it's totally fine. And of course, we know Condi to be able to get these ganks working. Didn't even have to use the flashes. Now Diamondprox is going to find him. They're even on level. Just the red buff is going to help out here as Diamondprox, I believe, wasn't spotted. But not a whole lot he can do here. As once again, the Shadow Step is going to jump forward, but it's basically just going to get him a fair bit of damage, and he's going to steal away that Raptor camp. So nicely done. Thought just, you know, Shadow Stepping into a charged barrel is a bad idea, but it turns out it's not.
This is actually massive. The fact that Diamond has taken both Raptor camp rotations from Condi, is now contesting Krugs, and has 2 successful ganks. This is denying so much gold and time and experience from Condi.
Well, Condi just going to bail from the area. Diamondprox just in a little bit too much control, and you can see as far as camps taken, 24-10 is pretty ludicrous, as we are going to see this one again on the bottom side of the map. Eye of the Storm, of course, a longer cooldown. Oh, actually, no, not quite yet. I got to stop reading patch notes after this. But the flash forward, all too easy for Blasting.
Yeah, and we said that Blasting has been solid, but this is his chance to, you know, prove himself in this veteran lineup, and he did just that, picking up a 2v2 solo kill. Of course, it was set up initially by Diamond, but this is, again, some of that weird wonky communication. We didn't see the end of that replay, but it looked like we were trying to hand the kill off to Xie, and it ends up in Condi's hands, which, not entirely punishing. I mean, it's nice to have extra gold on the jungle. He can move it around to other lanes, but you would have liked it on the Jace so he can keep step with Anivia.
Well, he's going to try and do it now as there's a knock up onto Blasting. Will have to get himself out of the way, and remember, no flash, and Mystic is going to grab that kill. Now looking for more damage onto Edward. And despite everything that went wrong earlier on, WE looking like they're stabilizing now.
And it was a bold prediction from Condi, the fact that look at all of the vision that Gambit have behind that Dragon Pit. So not hesitating at all, because if he had, they would have been able to absorb it through the vision and just walk back to safety, just run straight through it and makes the gank happen. So trying to grapple back into this lane.
Well, once again, we have the Janna on WE. So we look at the gold, and it's only 300 behind here for WE, despite the fact that they are struggling in some of these lanes.
But look at where that...
Yeah.
Janna.
It's
Talisman.
300 for now. But you guys just wait. It's 7 minutes into the game. That is only going to get worse.
Because, you know, we were looking at the previous game that WE had against Lion, and the fact that they held onto that gold lead for so long, and so much of that was simply in the support, you know, coin itemization. So we'll keep our eyes on that as Gambit. Gold lead has now just swung in favor of Team WE, and they are now looking for a delayed swap.
Yeah, bit of a vacation towards the top side of the map here for Gambit. Relatively early, as Diamondprox with the Shadow Step, not actually going to get Xie in a decent position, who's just cheating towards the side that has Condi on it.
Yeah, and this is actually really smart from Gambit Esports, so they'll hold on for a second, because mid lane.
Yeah, once again, no egg this time as the body slam right at the edge. Teleport not in time as 957 comes down. That's going to have to be cancelled as WE can head towards this Infernal Drake if they want to with 957's help.
And that's what Gambit Esports were trying to play around, was the Shin ultimate. So they make the delayed swap after the tower fortification. They want to go into the Shin lane because they don't want to play cross map because the Shin will just drop down on them. So they will trade the tower for their mid laner's life, as well as control on the Infernal. So it's still an upward trade for Team WE, but I like the setup from Gambit.
Well, they should be able to take this first turret here. It's blasting, not going to grab the solo gold. I believe Edward's going to stick around. That is going to be taken. So Gambit, a lot of control. On the top side, at least. A lot of vision being put down as well. But WE looking to answer very, very quickly, and this will get them that gold lead once again.
But this is really important that PvP Steos actually delayed how quickly they took this tower, because it offers an opportunity for Gambit to set up for the Infernal and not just given away to Team WE, because they have superior control on the bottom side of the map by pushing that structure down.
Well, Condi's going to move around. We'll see whether he's going to hand over this blue buff towards Xie.
See, the delay in taking the tower, you can already see that Maus and Varus are already on their way down there. They're going to push the wave back, get control of the area, and start moving into the river and setting down their vision. So, again, just Cho'Gath right there, PvP Stayhouse, bought them a chance at this Infernal.
Well, he's going to move over on top of this ward as well. And speaking of a chance at the Infernal, it does have a decent amount of vision towards the back of that pit. Xie moving over to grab that blue that we mentioned earlier. Pretty easy. Yeah, you mentioned the dragon. It's not exactly WE's focus to look for this one at this stage. Steos just going to hang around as this void monster patrol the area. I'm wondering, he's just most likely waiting for 957 to push up. Doesn't want the danger of a long lane.
It's also the fact that he knows that 957 doesn't have his teleport. The ultimate was used mid lane. So Gambit Esports, again, make a great predictive call. We said that they felt too reactionary in their first game of the day. This is much better. Looking in advance, seeing that that ultimate go down mid, pull their Cho'Gath from top lane after he pushes it off, and take the Infernal for free. So PvP Stayhouse doing a great job this game, just kind of grabbing free objectives for his team.
Well, at the moment, 957 has actually been able to pull ahead by about 12 CS. Should be able to get some work done on this turret at the same time. The Cho'Gath just wandering through the jungle, but you're right. I mean, it's not necessarily about that. There's the Nethergrass, blasting, looking for it. Oh, that layering CC was stunning, as Edward's going to be able to lock down the kill. Mystic trying to get one back, buying time as Xie makes his way in. Edward in trouble, to the skies comes down, but it's a great flash timing for Edward to get himself out of the way, and Kira turns up in the nick of time. Barrel comes in, Condi just bops him. 957 turns up. Everyone getting in here like the credits are rolling, something like that. Names coming down, and Diamond Procs, Umbral Trespass onto Xie, gets himself out of the way, but not out of the way of the Akathian surprise. And this is insane. Kill after kill for everyone, but it's going in WE's favor. In the end, it's a 1 for 4.
And PvP Steos is the only member of Gambit Esports to limp away from that one. He shows up, okay guys, I'm not about this party, and immediately walks it into mid lane.
Yeah, it's like, and I'm here, and I'm here, and I'm here. And unfortunately, most of those and I'm here's were WE players.
But Atlas, there is nothing that I wanted more than to just see these teams go full speed ahead at each other. Again, this is like a dream come true for old school League of Legends fans as we take a look at this. You talked about the layering of CC, 100% agree.
Oh, 4 for 2, wasn't it?
It was just beautiful to watch them absolutely blast Ben. Now, reinforcements arrive earlier for Team WE. Xie getting on the side. The teleport comes in. And I really like the flash there to dodge the damage as it's coming down. But Condi's already behind them. Diamond Procs is going to be late to the fight, finds a great cask and picks up another kill as Kira is just trying to zone Mystic on the back half. Will eventually pop Kog'Maw.
Yeah, barrier working out quite well at the same time. Meant the Diamond Procs was extraordinarily low when he came in and gave an extra kill over to the Cog as well. Kathian Surprise picking up kills makes you feel great as an AD carry, as the egg is going to be destroyed as well, and Kira went down in the end.
I mean, are you truly maximizing your damage output on Kog'Maw?
Exactly.
If you don't use the passive?
It was like old Zyra. People were saying, Max, you're feeding all the time. What is this? And I'm like, no, I'm just correctly utilizing my kit. Just ridiculous. Don't let me play.
I support you in your choices.
Well, you don't want to support me. Definitely don't do that. It's going to make you even more upset. Diamond Procs looking to try and lock down this Rift Herald. Condi wants to get himself over, but not going to be able to land that one, and is a little bit upset here as he pops his way in. Oh, fantastic aim on the cask, and the flash taunt comes in. Diamond Prox punished in every way, and it's Mystic that gets the kill.
And now this Kog'Maw is suddenly 3-2-3, so after an explosive early game from Gambit Esports, where Diamond Prox was just basically running a train on multiple lanes, suddenly not transformed yet, getting picked off, and Kog'Maw right back in the driver's seat by being leapfrogged ahead.
Yeah, and I actually wanted to ask you about this, because the transformation, of course, it's about killing ranged or melee. When you kill Jace, what happens?
I'm actually unsure.
Yeah.
I don't get to see that interaction a lot. In fact, in the LPL, we don't actually play a lot of Jace. It's usually been Rookie. So Xie pulling out the pick and Ben pulling out the Janna are indicative that Team WE really have been, scrimming quite heavily and trying to change up some of their picks. It's the same style, but it feels like they're trying to fit more into kind of the Korean meta.
Yeah, I actually really like it because we know 957 is a fantastic carry player himself, so that can be flexed theoretically. As we've got a top lane fight towards the bottom side of the map, but look, that's why we don't talk about it, because it's wet noodles on both sides. No one's really going to die. There's the Blade's Reach that comes in. Umbral Trespass comes down, but not sure whether he really wants this one. Diamond Prox to get out of the way, but not far enough. And Mystic gets another one. 4-2-3 now for the Cog. He's looking for his Ginsus very, very quickly. Just needs the combine.
And see hero, kill hero is not working out for Diamond today. Again, just a bit too aggressive. Didn't necessarily have the information to look for that type of invade. And now, again, Kog'Maw gets another piece of gold in his back pocket.
And I feel like we're observing the Condi show a little bit here as well. He's 3-0-4 as he's going to turn up towards the bottom side. PvP Steos in trouble, but does have a lot of CC to his name, and it takes a while to kill him, even though he doesn't have that many items. He's just going to back his way out, and WE didn't want to waste their time.
But at this point, Team WE just kind of want to funnel a bunch of gold onto Mystic. I feel like WE have really put Mystic in kind of the new Wei Xiao. If you go back historically with this organization, they crafted one of the greatest AD carries of all time by just throwing everything in the kitchen sink into his piggy bank, and they do a very similar thing with Mystic. It's not just the composition that was entirely built around him, it's also the fact that they'll slow down the tempo of the game, they'll get him into the mid, get him into these side lanes, and start funneling all of this extra gold. And as soon as he has his items, which he's now got the Rage Blade in his back pocket, that's when Team W will look to strike next.
Well, this is very, very frightening, especially if you can sit in a minion wave and charge that one up. 957 hanging out under his inner turret. So we've got 3 members of Gambit looking to try and shove this one forward. They're staying proactive no matter what, and they are still able to get into this jungle. Condi not able to necessarily duel Diamond Prox because he has been farming like an absolute beast this game. They do have control over this top side. Still walking over vision, and WE know exactly what's up. Not going to be too worried about how this one goes. And they're just cool, calm, and collected. This is the WE of old, you know? We will make the reactionary plays, and if you make any mistakes, we'll win the game.
Well, they're going to have to make a reactionary play here.
Yeah, they are.
Because Gambit are going full ARAM. They're actually trying to grab control over the Infernal. So by placing the Rift Herald mid, it forces Team WE out of the river. They need to attend to this buff, which gives them full control over this Infernal. They quickly burn it and take it for free. So
shit. He's looking for it, jumps into the skies. Lots of AoE damage is there. So Nethergrasp and 957 turns up. Massive knockback from Condi, who just destroys Gambit. And Kira's going to go down as well. We said Xie was slumping. Well, it's not this game, as they're still looking for more. The slow comes in, but 957 not wanting to dive just yet. And it's like WE is saying, you can have all the dragons, we'll just kill you.
They figured it out. They can't start the dragon. That's when the team fights go sideways. They wait for the other team to start the dragon now. But they do have control of the creep wave, and they do have a lot of pushing pressure with the Jace as well as the Kog'Maw behind them.
Yeah, you may think that that's only 2 caster creeps. That doesn't matter. They got 5 people here and a heck of a lot of damage. Move back up through. You could imagine that they want to take down the mid turret, but Diamond Prox is there. And they're able to actually grab one back. So as far as objectives, I'm feeling okay for Gambit. Not bad.
For tower trade as well as the Infernal, the big issue though is that it was an inner for an outer.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, outer mid, still pretty good. I mean, there's arguments here.
Still works out.
I don't know. My inner Gambit fan is showing. I apologize.
I mean, the cool thing is that the more that the map opens up, the stronger Gambit's composition really gets in terms of making a lot of these picks and hunting down a lot of these assassinations. Taking a look at that, that was the assassination by the good old Xie. Yeah, pretty disgusting. Over the wall, great CC layering. It was started out like by Xie, like you said. He has been slumping, but having a great game this time around.
Yeah, now 3-0-6 for Condi as well. Have a feeling that his Gragas needs to be looked at here from some of these teams and play-ins because he just looks so comfortable. Despite how things went as far as the challenge that Lion were able to put up against WE, it was still Condi able to get the work done quite nicely.
You know, we do forget that Team WE, a lot of these players don't have a lot of experience on the international stage. Outside of MSI, it was really only the IM against TSM that they had gotten any real exposure.
Not to mention taking down the Tigers as well. I remember that one.
Greatest upset in League of Legends history.
And you have to remember, I mean, that was the time where Xie and Mystic both debuted on WE as well. This was the start of this roster's rise to power. Before that, things were a disaster for them. They were a 9th place team, and this is where these guys have finally come. And you mentioned, you know, best team in China, even though they're playing here in the play-ins. It's about them proving themselves, and maybe the game against Lion didn't quite do that, and the early game here this time didn't quite do that, but now we've got a 4,000 gold lead. Things are looking okay for WE.
It's about understanding why I give WE so much credit and the honor of being best seed coming out of the LPL, and it's because of their consistency. If EDG, RNG, and WE all play at the best of their abilities, I don't know who wins for sure, but I trust Team WE to often show up.
Oh, Blaze Reach coming down for Diamond Prox. Steos, oh, he's in so much trouble. Not a lot of mana. Sheer's just going to knock him back into the wall, and yeah, Kira can't quite flap enough. And he's going to cancel that teleport.
And unfortunately, that was the play from Gambit Esports, and it's completely absorbed and turned around. Now their members down, trying to get into position as Team W are trying to mount an assault on this mid lane. They pull Xie, they're going to have massive pressure in front and behind this tower, and with Cask available, it's super scary to stand.
Well, Condi just throws a party cast. They're looking to try and break this one up as, okay, a lot of CC coming down onto Xie, but you don't want to put it all at the same time, and Mystic is probably the target you're looking for. Shock Blast comes in, not quite enough. The Gambit do need to vacate, and this tower is not long for the world.
Yeah, so the cast didn't really connect there. Condi just, I guess, throwing it for prosperity's sake.
Yeah, it's a celebration. It's a party cast.
But
everyone loves a party cast.
The chase damage certainly amounting to something. 4-1-5 right now. And like I said, Xie doesn't normally play Jace. This is really the rookie and the Coco champion of the LPL. Hasn't shown its face a lot.
I'm trying to think back, you know, to when I was an LPL caster, and I believe he did play a little bit of it when he was in Vogue, but here's the gank. Just didn't quite work.
And also absorbed the teleport from Kira, which is going to be a big deal. But again, you know, Gambit Esports, oh, hold on.
Here we are, Desperation Baron time.
They've got the Cho'Gath.
Yeah, he's over towards this area. We do have Ben moving over, as this Baron is extraordinarily low. Everyone wants to get down, and that's just going to be eaten. Gambit looking to try and turn this one around. They have the wall for the disengage, and they'll just wander out. That was beautiful.
I mean, we can have some of our complaints that we feel that Gambit Esports don't necessarily look far enough ahead when they're making their plans, but their decisive, bold calls just bought them some more time in this game.
I feel like you probably should have fished on Baron if you WWE though. Just a little bit of a lapse in judgment there, but that was exactly the moment that it spawned. Gambit knew exactly what they wanted to do, as finally Rast form is available for Diamond Prox. 21 minutes into the game, but now he's got the CC, now he's got the lifesteal, and now things are looking better.
Yeah, and now Gambit have another, you know, tank or utility member as, hold on.
That was the most instant flash I've ever seen, as Diamond Prox is going to Shadow Step his way in. Blade's Reach doesn't get the knock up, and Steos is going to pay for it.
Condi has Cask.
Another party?
Celebration.
Okay, we'll see whether Diamond can actually affect this a little bit more now, as the inhibitor turret is in trouble. It's a 4 versus 5, and WE can throw out a lot of poke. Another cast to come down. Taunt in at exactly the right time as he uses the ultimate to get a bunch of his health back. Does so effectively, and Condi has to body slam for his life. Walks back into a stun as well. Somehow doesn't die. Living Artillery! The execution damage is enough to get rid of blasting. That should spell the end of this turret as they tank it up and take it down. Inhibitor should follow, and WE playing with aggression here at the 22-minute mark.
I mean, lose the 20-minute Baron, but they're the ones that open the bottom inhib. This is the Team WE that I really expected to come in hot and heavy in this play-in stage. This is why they are known for the blind pick Kog'Maw. Mystic is just so dangerous on this champion. that said, it felt like Gambit gave it a lot of free kills that it shouldn't have necessarily gotten. It was still blasting Edward, finding the 2v2 solo kill on Mystic and Ben. So there's still flaws here. There's still a big Achilles heel that Gambit had been able to punish, but they've lost a lot of steam transferring into the mid game.
Diamond Prox is looking to try and take down Gambit's third dragon of the game. But Condi just says no, and he's going to be able to shadow step his way away, but this does just provide a leash for WE, who do get that high priority Cloud Drake in comparison to Gambit's two Infernals. I mean, what do they even do, Infernal Drakes? I mean, what's the point?
Oh, this is dangerous. PvP stay house.
Oh, he's
Good
being
night, sweet
picked
prince.
on. The taunt is available there for 957. Lands it all too easily as Shea looking for the damage. He doesn't want to get eaten still, but the rest of WE going to turn up. I mean, that felt like we shouldn't have really shown it, to be honest. Not a whole lot that the Cho'Gath can do. It's back to the Void for a moment.
And Team WE, it looks like they're just going to steamroll down towards that inhibitor. Mystic was maybe trying to defend the mid lane, but he's waddling down there as fast as little legs can carry him. And this should be a free inhib. I mean, Kira's continuing to push top. He does have teleport.
But I mean, what can they do? I mean, in a 4v5 situation, this inhibitor, not long for the world anyway, because it doesn't have a turret defending it. So you may as well just try and get what you can done, but he's not going to stay around. That inner turret survives on the top side. Now 5 turrets to 3, the inhib now gone. I believe, you know, Baron's going to wear off in another 3 seconds. So that should mean that at least there'll be a moment of respite, but if there's ever a lane that you want open, you talk about this all the time, that is the Baron inhibitor that WE have taken, and it means that they're set up to try and take the next one.
And it means the window of error that Gambit now have to play around the next Baron when it spawns just gets that much larger. PvP Stayhouse will have his teleport available. Kira still has his, but one of these members will have to be very diligent about controlling the bot wave, while Team WE are just patient around the Baron. And that's even considering that they think they need the Baron to end. I mean, they lost the first one and they just walked through the base. The gold lead is massive, and most of that is in the hands of Mystic, exactly where they want it for this composition.
Well, we just saw the Baron power play. It's about 1,000 gold in the negative for Gambit, unfortunately. WE were able to pressure that turret down, and this is what happens when WE are in control. I mean, you might be able to sneak a Baron like that, but the team fighting prowess with the composition that they've put together for themselves just feels like WE are in so much control. Wit's End almost done for Mystic. There has my 2 favorite items on the way. Ginsu's Rageblade. Oh man, I'm just so glad that it gets rushed now. I just get so much game time with the Ginsu's in it.
But it's now a matter of, you know, what can Gambit do to try to come back from this hole? And it's utilize a lot of the pick on their roster, which is why what Condi's doing is so important. WE have organized themselves, they've got their tank leading in, he's got the sweeper, you know, he's checking every single nook and cranny, every single brush, and denying Gambit any sort of opportunity to abuse Fog of War to find these sneaky picks and to try to create a 4v5 or 3v5 disadvantage.
And we have to remember as well that, I mean, this Gambit squad does have a lot of wave clear. Remember back, I mean, we were talking about CLGU from the old times. That was Froggen, he was the Anivia player, and what did he do? He stalled out games for hours and hours. As there's the knock-up on a Mystic, has to flash to get himself out of the way after using the QSS, but there's just too much damage here for WE, and Shie was left unattended. Diamond Prox doesn't want to be tanking those shock blasts. So at least the Glacial Storm is in there. But Gambit barely holding on now, and they always just seem to lose one from every skirmish, and in the meantime, Super Creep's destroying the base.
And unfortunately, there's not a lot that Gambit's composition can do if they lose control over vision of an area, because they need to find the pick. They can't simply try to, you know, start a flanking fight. They don't really have those options. They don't have the Gragas, but hold on top.
Yep, Condi's going to be taken down. That's the shutdown going over to Diamond Prox as well as Mystic. He was just concentrating on the turret, now wanting to turn things around. Ardent Sensor in there trying to help him out, but that's going to be the double kill. Somehow Diamond Prox grabs one back. That's the shutdown info blasting. And can Gambit turn it around is the question. A Cathian surprise was there, but gets absolutely nothing done. And you can see Diamond Prox celebrating by walking through all of the walls to try and get himself back to the base to defend.
And I mean, I said that Gambit, you know, their composition didn't give them the necessary tools to look for the big flanking plays when Team W are far forward, that they needed to use their pick. Oh, you know, Team W could just walk through a tower and blast all their health away and just feed Gambit some kills, but excellent job picking that up.
Makes the game so much more exciting, though, I tell you that much. Shie looking to head back home as Edward does not want to face tank this guy. And he just, cool guys don't look at explosions, man. Like, terrifying. She has so much damage.
Oh, here comes the teleport, though. Double teleport. One on the bottom, one on the top of your screen.
Because the Baron just spawned yet again. And what do Gambit want to do? They want to kill Baron. They're like, oh, he's got all his fancy new clothes on. That must mean that he's worth a little bit more. And the wall, it's going to be in there. This is a 50-50 Baron, though, stolen from Condi. Your mystery gifting feels better, but Gambit certainly doesn't as Shie still looking for more. The flash comes in from Mystic to try and get himself over there. I believe he used a blasting cone because that one was still on cooldown. So that is going to be Shadow Step. Diamondprox trying to get himself out of the way. At least has his Q to help him out as 957 trying to hold on to the rest of Gambit. But thankfully they only lose one. As now Edward desperately trying to hold on to his base. They lost a Nexus turret. And blasting, oh dear.
And the son of Baron strikes again. Condi's been a little bit lax in the LPL and his Baron steals, but he holds true there. I do want to point out kind of the cool composition that Gambit have put together. I'm sure we'll see it in the replay, but so far their base is just going to get lit up and destroyed.
Yeah. And Condi's going to get rid of this inner turret as well. It's 9 turrets to 3, 11,000 gold lead as Mystic. We know what he can do on Kog'Maw, and he certainly does as well, as this Ginsu's is charged up, ready to go. And there is an egg now standing in their way. I'm not entirely sure what happened. How do you taunt an egg? I'm not sure, but Mystic says he just wants to kill it. Minions are streaming into the base. There's only one Nexus turret here, and Gambit desperately trying to hold on. Diamondprox is going to fall, and despite the fact that they get an ultimate down onto Mystic, which should be a good thing, it's just not going to be enough. They're too far behind, and WE looking to go 2-0 themselves. Cloud9 successful as the tier 1 seed, and WE looking to do the same thing with a home crowd here on day 1.
Rebranded, re-rostered, and remembered, Team WE finish what they started in 2012 and take down Gambit Esports.
Gambit, I mean, there was some great moments. The beginning of the game looked good, but in the end, WE, much like the way they were able to take down Lion, it just felt slow and steady until they realized that there was an opportunity to get a lead. Opportunity after opportunity came their way. Gambit not necessarily playing as clean as you have to against this team that loves to punish mistakes.
And that's the thing, the key word there, mistakes. You cannot make mistakes against Team WE because they are the patient team of the LPL. They will sit back, they will watch you, and they will look for their area to strike. And it was in that bottom lane skirmish when Mystic started to pick up all of those kills, when things got fast and furious and we were diving towers and trading back needlessly. That's when the tables started to turn for Gambit Esports. But otherwise, it looked so good early.
Yeah. And I'm really glad that at least some new life was breathed into Gambit, and we saw at least the shades of what Kira was capable of doing last year when we saw him at Worlds, of what made Gambit so incredibly dominant throughout their regular split. But unfortunately, against WE, it's a little bit of a tough ask. We'll see whether they're going to be able to come back tomorrow, but the beginning of play-ins not necessarily looking great for Gambit Gaming.
And I think it's just because they're not...
Gambit Esports, I'm sorry.
They're not sticking true to their core style. You know, it starts off fast and heavy, but then they try to slow it down and are having a lot of troubles playing from behind, getting that play style to work for them. I like the fact that they have the confidence to grab these comfort picks like the Kane, try to make the plays happen, but they need to make the plays stick.
Yeah, and I also did like the Malzahar in the end as well. We saw that it was successful in the laning phase. It just didn't quite mesh as the game went on, and that was a problem for them in their first matchup at the same time. So you could imagine that now going back, looking to try and streamline some things and get themselves towards that 2-2 and hopefully try and get themselves out of this group at the same time. But it really is an uphill struggle right now, especially with how dominant Lion were looking. And man, WE also, it just feels like they're at the point where if you wait too long, WE are just going to win, and that is so, so frightening.
That said, their team fighting did look much better this time around, so this was a better performance, and it looks like Team WE are finally starting to ramp up after their very tough victory over Lion.
Yeah, just warming up. But to get their thoughts on that win from Team WE, let's send it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you, Atlas. Interesting game, definitely. I think WE continuing to look more and more dominant as they go further in the tournament. Now, looking at how this unfolded right off the bat, Zyrene, you said you wanted to see Diamondprox step up. I feel like we did see that coming out in the early game.
A little bit. I think there were some moments where he was able to make some big plays. There were also some bigger problems later on in the game. Draft-wise, I like that they stayed with a lot of aggressive picks. They still have their kind of meta that they're playing. The Anivia is one that we saw Kira play a ton, as well as the Malzahar support, trying to make some plays with it early on. Did actually work out as well.
Yeah, they did some kind of interesting strat early to invade, get Diamond Prox ahead with the Raptors and the red, and to be able to triple buff Condi. Like, I think they started off with a pretty interesting strategy, but they sacked the bottom lane to do so. Blasting got even further behind. And then, you know, Mystic with the blind pick Kog'Maw, like one of the best picks for him and WE, was able to kind of hit that late game. So it kind of didn't really matter when those that mid game kind of rolled around, that Gambit had done so well in the early parts of the game. And there were a lot of mistakes.
Well, to be fair, some mistakes coming from Gambit, but of course, as we look across both junglers, we saw so much presence on both sides. Diamond Prox, of course, the first guy to really make his presence known in those lanes. But when we look at Condi, Condi was matching him blow for blow.
Yeah, it was a very back and forth game in that early game with both junglers having big plays. Gambit started it out, kicked it off with the Kane being able to come over the wall really early on onto the side of GA right there.
Yeah, and then went immediately bottom, got flashes there, but then it got turned around. Condi was able to make a play mid, get Kira, then make a play bottom, and actually go to the 2 lanes that Diamond had actually upset.
Right, and the funny thing was, a lot of these ganks that Diamond was turning, he actually didn't get assists for some of them because the kills were coming after. Gets an advantage for Kira there in the mid lane, who later picks up the kill. And then, like you were just saying, Condi coming in to try and reset these lanes.
And the sad thing, too, is, of course, he didn't really transform until around the 20-minute mark, which is incredibly late for Kane.
Yeah, the problem was he kept ganking ranged champions, so he goes Jace, who's in, cannon form, so he's not getting the red globs to be able to turn into the melee form. And then this was actually just a great gank setup here by WE. They were baiting like they were trying to hit a pink ward to clear it and over-aggressing, which made Gambit's bot lane want to punish them for that, but they knew Condi was coming in the backside to get that kill. So just really heads-up play out of WE, coordinating to make sure that they manipulate Gambit to do what they want.
Yeah, early lead for Diamond Prox was aggressive, exactly what I wanted to see, but I felt like they didn't take enough advantage of it in terms of they played slow from that point, because they got their kills, they got their summoner spells in terms of an advantage, but Kira too far forward, not enough ward coverage, Diamond not on that side of the map to assist. Those types of kind of windows, I don't feel like Gambit respect that their opponents can be in that area and can be aggressive.
Well, and speaking of not respecting, as we take a look at our Acer Predator replay, you can see WE clearly taking advantage of a surprise attack coming in from the Jace in the brush. And to be fair, I wouldn't have respected this one either. I did not know this was something you could do.
That's a big boy play. You ask for the Chenault, you jump into 5 people, and you say, let's go. So, I mean, GA going a little crazy there. Did have his team's backup. Condi was able to follow up on that play very well. That is kind of what started breaking the game completely open. It's unfortunate that they were losing the Infernal Dragons, but they're making sure to walk away with the kills.
Yeah, GA completely able to kind of push away what had happened early. The early ganks, not a problem. The solo death, I guess, not a problem for him either. Almost 1,000 damage per minute, a little bit higher than that. And 2 members of WE able to come up with those gigantic numbers.
And the thing was right before that big play, like 11.5 minutes in the game, we had our first kind of fiesta play of Worlds. I feel like they have to happen at some point during the group stages, and there we had some like 4-for-1 down the bot lane early on. So I just